Contractors, every Arizona homeowner's best friend.
In studio with us, we've got Mr. Tom Cole, Director of the Registrar of Contractors, along with Julie
Pickerill.
Pickerill. Okay, I should have asked beforehand. We've been sitting here chatting all during the break, and I read that, and I'm like, is it Pickerill?
Yeah.
The Chief of Licensing. Well, before we get into anything else, for somebody maybe new to the state, what is the Registrar of Contractors?
Well, Romy, good morning, and it's a pleasure to be here. If you're going to engage in construction for money in Arizona of anything of value over $1,000 or anything that takes a permit, you have to be licensed by the ROC, the Registrar of Contractors. We also call ourselves the ROC, so it's a good little acronym for us. But licensing is required to be in construction in Arizona.
And if you've paid attention when you're out driving around and you see a vehicle that's got, an AC company or a plumbing company or any kind of construction company, somewhere on the vehicle, generally speaking, you see ROC, the pound sign, and then a 6-digit number. That's their license number.
That's correct. And we've tweaked those rules a little bit. If you have your company URL prominently displayed on your work trucks, work vehicles, and then when you go to that website, your ROC number's on the website, that's satisfactory. So we don't require the ROC number on everybody's vehicles like we used to, but we do have that. You have to make that information prominently available to your customers.
And then as the homeowner, though, do your due diligence. Take that number and then go search it on the Registrar of Contractors website.
100%. Our search engine is very robust, and you don't even really need the number. You need the name of the company or the name of the person that's engaged with you. That's a principal member of the company organization, and our search engine will nail that down for you.
My favorite thing about the number, though, you can look at it and immediately tell how old the company is.
Yes.
That's true.
Absolutely.
And we can have that from time to time where somebody's up for renewal and we think they might be, the scope of license they're in might need to be updated. We give them an opportunity to keep their original license number because that's a point of pride for a lot of our long-time licensed contractors.
Because we're at like 3,600 something, Julie?
In terms of licenses, we're over 60,000.
But like where we're at the number,
yes,
like
the
somebody
number
applying
is
today, they're going to have 300,000.
36555 or something. Yes.
You see something that's 3.5, well, they're probably a year old. 3.4, a couple more.
Yep.
You see anything that's a 2 or a 1, like they're probably older than you are.
There's some, I saw one yesterday. It was a 097. It was from the 90s.
So there's a lot that you can tell by somebody's ROC number, but
Absolutely.
When you search it, there's a qualifying party. Explain what that is. It doesn't have to be the owner.
No, the qualifying party is the person that has the experience, the expertise in that classification. So if it's a flooring contractor, they know flooring up, down, and sideways. And they're the person that also takes the tests. We have 2 exams on most licenses. The rules test, so that's our statutes and rules, and then the trade test. And they've had the experience. So maybe they worked for their dad or just another company. They have that experience that they understand what they're doing. So they're the ones that are the qualifying party. And they may have many employees. They're the ones with the expertise.
And the expertise doesn't just come in the trade. Most people, if they've been in the trade 5, 6, 10 years and, have a little bit of motivation, a little bit of a self-starter, could probably go past their trade test.
Oh, yeah.
But the business side, man, that keeps a lot of people from getting a license.
Not necessarily anymore. We redid the statute and rules exam a few years ago, and it's really like a CBT, a computer-based training. So we call it a training exam. Yes, it has an exam at the end, but it's a lot of training in the middle.
Well, I'm going to have to go do that just
Yes.
for my personal reference and experience.
Absolutely. Director did.
We're pretty, Director got a 96 on it.
I was going to ask, will you share your score? 96, that's good.
Yeah.
Do you remember the 4 questions you got wrong?
I don't. One of the things we're proud of, too, Romy, is that we have actually produced that statute and rules exam in Spanish. So we're working on our bilingual program. Slow, steady progress, and that getting the statute and rules exam into Spanish is a big accomplishment for us. and we're looking at our trade exams next. So that's part of our program. Again, it's not the most prominent deal. It's just slow, steady progress in that direction.
And there's on that progress, let's talk about how the structure of the ROC is now, because it's a little bit different. There's 2 chief assistants for licensing. Julie, you're one of them.
I'm the chief, and then I have 2 assistant chiefs. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then there's 14 people under them, and that's our team. Our team answers questions every single day via email and phones. We're very busy on phones, so it keeps them very busy. And then we process all the items. So we process applications, renewals, any kind of changes to a license. But yeah, my whole team is very, very busy.
And the stat that Cindy sent, the director's assistant?
She's our assistant director, so she's an amazing support system for the entire agency.
Yeah.
She said y'all process an average of 600 licenses a month. Now, they don't all get approved, but I mean, that's how many people are applying, 600 a month.
We are averaging 600 applications a month. And we also look at our precursor to that, which is our background investigations. Everybody that applies for a license in the state of Arizona has to go through a rigorous background investigation. And those stats are up, they're high. So we know those folks are likely to apply. Construction is very busy in Arizona. That 60,000 active license benchmark is, I mean, we're probably as busy as we've ever been in the history of the state of Arizona.
And is there anything on the background check that would keep me from getting a license? What are y'all looking for there?
We're looking for felonies. We don't look at misdemeanors at all. If a person has a felony, we do review that in our licensing review committee. But even if you have a felony, we issue 80% of those get licenses. There's a few that we interview if they've had something egregious in their past. Most people that have had a felony in the past, it's not a done deal that you cannot get licensed. Sometimes maybe you can't get licensed right now, let a little time pass. That helps as well. But we give licenses to 80% of those, at least, probably more at this moment.
And I know a big commercial electrician company that will actually look. Well, one of his preferred labor pool sourcing is people that are coming out of prison, because they say that more often than not, they are so thankful to be out and determined not to ever be back there, that they're some of the hardest working, most dedicated, and eager to learn and become some of his best, most skilled tradesmen.
Absolutely. And many of them have had experience while they've been in prison, because there's a lot of programs. We're actually going to visit a prison in Florence on Monday. But a lot of them have programs to educate and keep their prisoners happy and busy and learning something that they can use after they get out.
Gary D., you remember Dave Petitjean?
Yeah.
He's a Cajun comedian. Do you remember? He used to have something that Pierre says. Pierre says
this. Yeah.
Do you remember what Pierre says about prison?
What was that?
That's where Jesus is, because all his family finds him there.
Well, Romy, Arizona is a second chance state. Reentry 2030 is an initiative the governor sponsors and widespread support. We've changed the look back for licensing. Our felony look back used to be 7 years. And I believe a session or two ago, legislature in a bipartisan fashion signed by the governor changed that to a 3-year look back. So nonviolent crimes, drug offenses, those typically don't have any complications unless there's some real aggravating issues to that. Arizona is a second chance state, and we're very much involved in that.
Director of the Registrar of Contractors, Mr. Tom Cole, what would you like to leave people with?
Well, I think I'd like to emphasize our search engine on our website, roc.az.gov. Very simple. And if you're looking to have some work done on your business or on your home, we urge you to go to our website. And Julie's going to talk a little bit about the details of what you can do with that search engine in order to find the right scope of contractor for the job you want done.
When you say your home or your business, there is different classifications. You can have a residential license, a commercial license, or both. There's a lot of different things that happen when you get to commercial that are not applicable in residential for a lot of reasons. Buildings are smaller. A lot of the building materials different. The energy requirements are different.
Yeah, as far as licensing goes, one of the biggest differences is if you are a residential contractor, then you pay an assessment into the Residential Contractors Recovery Fund. And thereby, as a residential customer, if you are wronged by a licensed contractor and they get an order against them, you may qualify for an award from the Residential Contractors Recovery Fund. Along those lines, we are starting a marketing campaign for the Recovery Fund, and you'll be seeing that roll out pretty soon. But our tagline is rock solid, licensed for excellence. And the Recovery Fund can award up to $30,000 per claim. And if a contractor is just having a really bad run, the maximum that a contractor can be held accountable for on one license is $200,000. But claimants that have properly qualified for an award go through the process, and we're happy to help explain that. But this marketing campaign we're kicking off here in the next few weeks will help lead folks down the proper path to get qualified for an award should they earn it.
And that's a fairly tough process because, I mean, you've got situations where it could just be the recipient of the contractor just trying to scam the system.
Yeah, I mean, we go through exhaustive checking, double checking to make sure that the person that has applied for an award from the Recovery Fund is indeed entitled. It has to be your primary home. That's a big deal. Folks on their second home, vacation home, investment home, do not qualify for an award from the Recovery Fund. So that's a big deal breaker. The rule says intent to occupy. Our interpretation of intent to occupy is when the project's done, you're going to move in. And folks don't meet those benchmarks, then they won't qualify for an award from the fund.
And it's great that that's there, but in the general case, it's not something we want to use. Our intent is the work that's being contracted is going to be done up to code and standard, and everyone's going to be happy.
And we work really hard along the way, Romy, to get folks together to communicate at the very first sign of a problem in order to try and resolve these things before it gets to that point. The vast majority of our cases are resolved at the front end.
Excellent. Julie Pickerill, I get
Yes.
that? Yeah, I've been practicing the whole time.
Okay.
I'm the king of butchering names.
Oh, me too.
As the chief of licensing, what would you like Arizona homeowners, their takeaway from today to know about the Register of Contractors?
Definitely vet your contractors. The first thing you can do is if you're considering doing a job, whether that's painting, flooring, remodeling, go to our search engine on our website and you can do an advanced search and search for contractors in your zip code that do flooring. And, we can't say that all of them are great contractors. Most of them are great contractors, but you can look them up there, see that they are licensed. They have to be active because that's one part of the recovery fund. If they're not licensed, then you wouldn't qualify for that if something went wrong with the job. But once you get that list of contractors, you can see they're active. You can see how many recent complaints they've had. Most of our contractors don't get any complaints. There's only a few that get one complaint their entire license history. So you can definitely go there and search for a company name, search for a license number. If you just have the name of one of the people on the license, you can search for that person and pull up their license as well. So that's a big thing.
And that's the first place we start when somebody contractor-wise comes to us and wants to join, is one of the preliminary requirements, licensed, bonded, and insured in business in Arizona for 5 years. So you could have been in business in another state for 20, 30, 40 years, decide to move out to Arizona. Maybe you're not ready for retirement, but you still, you're trying to get away from the snow or you're trying to move closer to family, whatever the case may be. Well, Arizona's a different market. I mean, even Phoenix to Tucson's a different market, to Flagstaff. Each market is so unique. Just because you're successful somewhere else doesn't mean you're going to be in the local market. So they have to be in business in the local market that they're applying for at least 5 years before we'll even process an application.
Well, we will...
To be Rosie on the house.
Oh, to be Rosie on the house.
But they have to have that ROC number for 5 years before we'll process it.
Awesome.
So they have to start with you.
Great. The other thing they can look for in that search is, is that number we were talking about before. Does it start with a 0? That means they've been in business a really long time. Does it start with a 3-6? maybe they've only been in business a short time. That doesn't make them different, worse necessarily. They might have worked for another contractor for 30 years.
My brother's license is a 3.5.
Yeah,
So
there you go.
He doesn't even qualify to join our network yet.
Yeah, but he probably has 20 years of experience. Yep.
Yes, he does, but not as a business owner or operator.
Yes.
You gotta be able to keep your business open. Just because you're a good tradesman doesn't mean you're a good businessman. One more time, the website?
Website, roc.az.gov.
Rock solid, licensed for excellence.
Rosie on the house, every Arizona homeowner's best friend.